Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. I think you might still be muted. Perfect. All right, everybody. If you've got a question for Coach Pierce, please go ahead and raise your hand and we'll call on you. I think we will get started with the first question coming from Chris Kirschner.
What are your thoughts on the insurrection we've seen today in Washington?
Probably the same thoughts everyone has. It's not unexpected. It's tragic in nature. I think it's sad, honestly. I think it's and it's a sad reality. Is really what it is. It's unfortunate that this is what we're looking at in our country after the year we've been through. But it's not unexpected. I think a day for someone like me, an African American man, to really look at here in the state of Georgia, and you see someone like Raphael Warnock become the first African American man from the state of Georgia, representing the state of Georgia, going to the Senate, and you see the following day that this is the reaction, this is the reality. There's no coincidence that this is the reaction to all of the events that are going on with regards to what has happened on a very promising election yesterday. The people of Georgia came out and voted. People, African Americans in the state of Georgia, voted at a higher rate than they did in the November 3rd election. And they spoke up for this state and for this country. And we live in a divided country. And we can say it's power and politics, but it's race as well. And today is a reflection, and it's a truth for those that have ever neglected the issues concerning people of color, the communities of color, African Americans, and their ability to have access. If you've ever neglected that, you're seeing it today to say that it's real. Racism is real. The issues are real. The protests, they were real, because what we're seeing now is just it's a sad reality that our country has yet to really reckon with and acknowledge. And for those that didn't believe it, I hope you believe it now, and I hope you really want to be a part of the solution, as many people have. I salute the organizers who have done a tremendous job of encouraging people to vote so their voice could be heard, because their voice has been heard, especially here in Georgia, but also in our country in the elections. But I think the people that have been organizing understood that this issue has occurred for a long time, and those that have denied it are seeing the reactions. And no one wants to see a federal building being destroyed because of divisiveness and politics and race, but we're seeing it. And so now it's just, what do we do? I've said all along, after November 3rd, it was great. Everybody wanted people to vote November 3rd. But after November 3rd, what are we going to do as a country? What am I going to do as a coach? What are we going to do as an organization? This is why. We knew this was coming. We didn't know when. We knew it was coming. We knew this wasn't going to happen easily. And so it's unfortunate. It's sad. It's really sad in our country that we're seeing it, but it's the reality. It's a sad reality.
Jacob.
Hey, Coach, the last time we talked to you about something like this was over the summer when all the protests were happening in the wake of George Floyd's death. And your team wasn't in the middle of the season then, and now you are. So how did you talk about everything today? What's it been like around the team as you have to now get ready for a game day?
Yeah, it's one of those moments where, we had a long film session yesterday about basketball and trying to correct two games that we lost to two teams that are scrappy and tough. And it's not the end of the world, is what I told them. This is a learning point. It's 7 games in the season. We've got a long way to go, and there's a lot of things we need to correct. But this is basketball. This is the challenge. You embrace the challenge. You embrace the journey. Today's conversation was a follow-up to yesterday. There's so many things that are really essential and important to us, that need to be essential and important to us, because there's so many things that are just crazy in this world that are going on. basketball is a joy, it's a privilege, it's an honor. And as we go through these challenges and we go through this, it's still basketball. And it's a reminder that what we thought was crucial and critical yesterday is really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And so when we get here and we get together as a team, this is our family. This is the we mentality. This is why we bond and we try and grow. Because when we leave here, the stuff that's going on in our world consumes us. It consumes me. And so let's enjoy what we can while we can, because there's so many other things that we can't enjoy. We can't enjoy just being outside and doing what we normally are used to doing because of the pandemic, and now because of what we're seeing. And that was the message today. Let's enjoy each other while we have each other and while we're able to play this game that we love, and don't make little things major things. Don't minor the major, just keep it what it is. It's a sport. We embrace the challenge, we embrace the journey, and keep that the focus.
Mark Medina.
Hi, Lloyd. Hope you're hanging in there, all things considered. When you look at the contrast of how police handled today's rioters versus peaceful protesters this past summer, what's it going to take for there not to be this racist double standard with how things are handled?
I wish I knew the answer to that. It'll never change until there's an acknowledgement that there's a difference. It'll never change unless there's an acknowledgement of the past with regards to how African Americans have always been treated and the history of that, and going back to slavery and going back to Reconstruction and going back through civil rights. You can't say that things are going to change if you don't acknowledge that it's a problem. And what you're seeing today is a reminder that there's a huge difference. There's a reason why there isn't shootings and brutality and looting and things of that nature. And people are just walking around the Capitol building as if it's nothing. And there's people sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office as if it's nothing. We all understand that would have been guns ablaze and fires ablaze right now if there were Black people protesting. If there were Black people protesting on the outside. We haven't even mentioned getting inside and tearing up the building. But we can't, nothing's gonna change until we acknowledge that there is a huge difference in how Black people are treated with regards to law enforcement. And that just hasn't happened. We've been fighting for that. There's been protests about that. There's a reason why people have encouraged others to get out and vote to change leadership. But until you truly acknowledge that there is a difference in how Black people are treated in this country, and especially with regards to law enforcement in situations like this, that's not going to change.
Jamila.
Hey, Coach. I know the topics of today and of really just the previous year plus are very heavy, but I do want to ask you about the matchup tonight. As far as the Hornets, what do you see when it comes to their additions with Ball coming in and also with Hayward? What do you see in that team and the difference from last year to this year?
You know, I don't know. They've got a good team. They've got facilitators. You know, the record doesn't reflect the effort and the commitment and the passion that they're playing with. But their effort is tremendous. And if you take a night off, then they're going to burn you. As they did with Dallas, they really got a hold of Dallas and sped them up. But they've got two additional facilitators to go with Graham and Rozier, and they play hard.
Raphael.
Hey, Coach Raphael with 3-point conversion. Just spoke about the Hornets playing hard. When you look at their pace, and they always want to play that fast pace and the positionless basketball, defensively, how do you gauge as far as how you will play? Not necessarily wanting you to give what you're going to do tonight, but how do you prepare for that in a sense? Are your guys prepared for that? We just have to handle their pressure. They're going to press us. They're going to zone us. They're small. They're scrappy. They're athletic. And so we just have to be able to handle their pressure. Same deal. We have to execute against a different type of pressure tonight. We're not going to match them. We want to force and impose our will so that they have to match us, and they have to match our execution. But it really just comes down to handling their pressure.
Kelly.
Coach, on the other side of the ball, I'm assuming you're very pleased with seeing that your team's second in defending the three so far this year. I know it's still early in the year, but what do you feel like has contributed to that and how that might be tested here this evening?
It's a give and take. You obviously want to take away the paint. That's where a lot of the threes are established. You get inside, you collapse the defense, you create some threes. Obviously, we've defended it well, but we want to be able to do both. We've started out and we really prided ourselves on focusing on the paint, and we have a lot of work to do there, especially when it comes to defensive rebounding and second chance opportunities. But we'll take what we're doing on the perimeter. We just want to add it and complement it with how we can defend the paint a little bit better and rebound a little bit better.
Sarah.
Hey, Lloyd. Feels a little odd to ask a nuts and bolts basketball question at a time like this, but I did want to ask you if Bogey will be able to play tonight.
Yeah, he is.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Pierce? All right, we're clear. Thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks.